Hi there, today I'd like to talk to you about how you can make long-term and powerful changes. Usually, or the emails I've been receiving in the most recent months have been like, how can I carry on going for this goal of mine? It's taking too long. And the actual fact of it is it can take time. Usually we see these people in the world making big leaps, so overnight successes. But really, in reality, we're not able to see the changes or the steps they make on a daily basis to achieve their goal. So I want to give you some insight on how you can create this momentum ultimately. And once you get this momentum, you'll stay on track, because it is so easy to get disillusioned by life or the perceived lack of progress. So let's go ahead and see what we can begin to learn from this. So some of you may have some big goals. They could be some money goals, they could be some health goals, they could be things in your career, and more often than not, they can be time-based. Even when you think of like making psychological or emotional changes, say you want to be free of depression or free of a phobia or free of anxiety or low self-esteem, even then it can take time. And since we have time in our world, and you may say, well, Joseph, there isn't enough time. Well, I can promise you there is. That's probably the first step we need to take responsibility for. So we need to take responsibility for the time that we have on a day-to-day basis. Because those who have achieved in the world have hustled. They have done whatever it took to make that change, investing half hour, an hour a day into making their dream come true. So it doesn't just come to you, and I'm sorry to say this if you believe in the law of attraction, which I'm cool with, but it's not about just visualizing it in your mind and then the universe delivering it to you. I've always said that things come to you when you begin to do. So when you start doing things, the world will begin to conspire in your favor, and that can take time, and it's all about your persistence. And now, since we all have the same amount of time every day, that really means 24 hours. And yes, I understand that you may have children, you may have a full-time job. It really doesn't matter. We should never allow that to be an excuse. And it will mean potentially having and making sacrifices. So it may mean that you will put half hour in a day or an hour a day into building your craft or taking action steps to achieve this goal. Whether it be learning, whether it be listening to my work, listening to my hypnosis. Every day you should be doing something. And I would say, for me personally, I always put at least an hour into that new goal of what I'm achieving every day until I start to see that progress, and then I can become more flexible or even turn it up a little bit. So we need to be able to take that action step. We need to be able to move forward. We need to be able to dedicate some time in getting the goal and the dream. This may mean switching off the TV. That's what I personally did. I just refused to watch TV and I put my attention where it needed to be. Or it could mean just getting up half hour earlier. Whatever it is, you need to be able to invest your time more efficiently, so that then those results begin to pay off, because you can never complain that your goal's not happening if you're not putting the time or the action into it. So the first step is to really take responsibility for your time and be prepared that sometimes you may sacrifice other aspects of your life to achieve this goal. And since you can begin to take that action step and take responsibility, it may mean doing less social things. It may mean that you have to have that extra half hour less of sleep because you're waking up early or going to bed earlier. Whatever it is, you need to take that responsibility to utilize your time efficiently. Then we have to begin to allow our attention to be where it needs to be. Too often, people who have their goals in their mind, they can be very, very vague at first. They can begin to be very vague. In fact, I'm going to go there first before I go to what I was about to say. So people can be very vague in their goals. So they say they want more money. Well, if I gave you £1 or I gave you $1, now you have more money. But did that satisfy or quench your thirst for achieving that goal? I very much doubt it. So you need to specify exactly what you'd like to have. Build a context of how much you want and when you want it and how you're going to begin to put those action steps together. If you want to lose weight, you just don't say, I'm going to lose weight, because you could starve yourself doing it and then put it all back on. If you just say you want to be happier, you could just watch a funny movie and the chances are you're going to be slightly happier, despite how temporary that may be. So you need to specify the specifics in what type of goal that you would like, how you want it, and also make it reliant on yourself. It can't be reliant on the economy. It can't be reliant if the sun's out outside to be able to make you feel good. It all comes on you that you have to instigate. That responsibility all comes down to you. So you need to specify exactly what you want and how you want it and be as clear in your mind as possible. Yes, you can be flexible with your dream and goal, but really be as clear as you can so you know that's what you're doing. As well as that, your unconscious mind is then getting clear instructions of bringing that into your world. Whatever you've put your attention on, your unconscious mind begins to expand it and look for more of it. It's like learning a new word or seeing the car that you actually want to buy. You begin to see it everywhere you go. In fact, I hired a car last week to go on a small trip. And I'd never been in a car like that. I didn't even know that model existed. I got in the car, went on my trip, and everywhere I began to see that same model. That was always in my reality, but because it wasn't important to me, my mind deleted it. So the exact same thing when it comes to your goals, you need to be clear on your goal, and that will get your unconscious mind to look for it. You're almost giving life to your unconscious mind and direction as to this is what you want. If you're very vague, you may not get it, or you may not get it in the way that you want it to happen. So we've got to really be clear. So far we've considered the time aspect, that we need to be able to put the appropriate action and the time efficiently to move forward. And then we just said that we need to be able to put get the clarity, to be able to be really specify that. And then we've got to allow our focus to begin to allow that to grow. So more often than not, people say, well, I've got this goal, but I'm living this kind of mindset of scarcity and I'm thinking about all the debt that I have, or I've got all this happening in my life. And that energy, that attention begins to bring more of it. Maybe not into reality, but definitely psychologically and emotionally, you'll be dwelling upon it, and therefore it's diverting your attention away from your goal. It's literally creating a conflict or allowing that goal to be further away from you. So you need to be able to get clear in your mind that you have to consciously think of your outcome. I've said this many times over the years as well. And I've gone over this kind of metaphor of a satellite navigation system, like a GPS. You put it in your car. What's the first thing you do? You put it in your destination. Your destination as to where you want to be. Now, you'd never put your destination in all the locations you don't want to visit to. That sounds ridiculous, but we can do that in our mind. We can focus all the things that we don't want in our world and expect, or we kind of consciously expect, to still get our outcome. It doesn't work like that. So think of your mind as a satellite navigation system. You have to put your attention on the goal and the outcome. When you do, your unconscious mind will begin to allow that straightforward direction of getting there. So really think of your outcome in the positive. So when you think of a goal, think about it exactly how you want it to be. And even try it on as well. Go ahead and step inside that goal. See what you'd be seeing, hearing what you'd be hearing, and feeling what you'd be feeling. That, in turn, allows you to make sure that this is the goal that you want. I'm sure there's been many times in your life that you thought you wanted something, and when you got it, it just didn't feel right anymore. It just didn't satisfy what you wanted. So try it on in your mind first to make sure this is something that you want. Otherwise, your mind can self-sabotage. So really try it on, and that means you become aligned and congruent in achieving your goal. And as I said, then you've got to put and take action on your goal. You've got to do something every day. I always go for an hour personally. If I've got a new project, I'll do whatever it takes in making things happen. I will talk to people, I will think, I will take action, I will write, depending on what the goal is, I will do whatever it takes. In fact, when I was losing weight, and I'm still on that journey, by the way, and getting fitter, but when I started, every day I made sure that I moved. In fact, I was doing it for like 2 hours a day, an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, doing different things so my body can recover, but I was always taking action. So that is something that is really, really important. And that is down to who? It's down to you. You have to take responsibility for this. You've got to do whatever it takes. If you want it enough, then you'll go ahead and do it. If it comes to creating emotional changes, I would always suggest listening to one of my hypnosis titles once a day for 30 days, because that gets your unconscious mind really into it. If you do it here and there, your unconscious mind gets kind of taken away from other things. And another thing that I tend to do, by the way, is as I go to sleep, I begin to think about my goal and outcome. I begin to vividly try it on, and I begin to even see how my next day will play out. Once again, sending signals to my unconscious mind for this is what I want to happen. Here's how I want my day to come out. And you could say we're ultimately doing a reverse anxiety program. So when you think of anxiety, you think of all the things you don't want. When you're thinking about this idea, you're thinking about all the things that you do want. And you know when you have that anxiety is because your body gives more of it. By focusing on what you don't want, it gets more fearful and more negative. But if we reverse it and focus on everything that you do want, your body will also in turn, rather like giving you the anxiety, it will give you the drive and the desire and the motivation. So we're utilizing our mind and body. So really be clear in what you want. Take action and dedicate. Those things will come to you when you start taking action. And you've got to weigh up the possibility. Is watching TV, for example, more valuable than achieving your goal in 6 months or a year's time, depending what it is, or maybe in 30 days' time or in a week's time? And you've got to weigh that up. Is TV more important? Or is socializing at the moment, if you're socializing a lot, is socializing more important than the goal that you want? And that is your judgment call. And that can be a very hard one to take. I know when I was really going all out, in other words, I was working every day, literally for 30 days in a row, very long hours, and that had an effect on my health. It had an effect on my my social life. And if I were in a relationship back then, I would not probably be in that relationship because I was putting all the hours in. So there is a sacrifice sometimes. And I'm not saying you should go all out and just kind of let go of friends, family, children, or anything like that. But you've got to weigh it up appropriately and at the very least begin to come up with a solution that allows the best of both worlds, where you can maybe sacrifice the things like the TV, which are far less important than things like social life and family and so on. That would be far better. But whatever happens, you go ahead and take time and do this. It's the only way that I've ever achieved anything in business or emotionally or physically is a time thing and prioritizing your time and how much you want it, getting clear in your mind exactly what you want, allowing that attention to flow. And then finally, when things aren't working for you and you seem to perceive it being a failure or dead ends, learn from it. Learn. In my mind, there's nothing, absolutely nothing about failure. Failure, I was thinking about this last week, and I was thinking that as I think about the word failure, it has no energy for me. It's like it doesn't actually mean anything. It used to. I mean, I'm a human, I go through stuff. But now I just think failure doesn't exist because I can just learn from it, I can adapt. So just make sure if you're going through a stumbling block or you're getting to that dead end, where in the past you'd feel like you should be giving up, think and ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this, which once learned will allow me to get better, to allow me to move forward, and then think what else I can do which will allow me to move forward. This way we're always getting our mind in the right direction. Anyone who's made a difference in the world has had to do that. Trust me, it just didn't happen just like that. Very easily at first attempt. If you think like Edison, they say like 10,000 attempts to create the light bulb. Now, for him, it could have meant, or for a person doing that, could have meant like 10,000 failures. And that would make you think, well, I don't want to do it anymore. Maybe after the first, second, third, fifth, definitely after the 500. You'd think, I don't want to do this anymore. But in his mind, he must have thought differently. Like he was getting closer to his goal. So I know when I've taught about sales, I would have no problem with people rejecting. So if you're selling a product or say if it's not right for that person, fine, move on to the next one. Think about that when it comes to your goals. If it's not working this way, move on to your next one. You keep moving forward and you keep going forward and you learn. To me, that is probably, I know I've kind of gone around the houses a little bit, but to me, by applying that type of mindset wisdom, what I like to think is wisdom anyway, because it's something that I have done and it's something that I've applied into my life, and I like to think I've achieved quite a lot, and I don't say that to impress you. Other than that, it's taken hard work. It's taken time. I've got to get my mind in the right place. And if you knew me way back, you would think that that person would never be able to do those things. Being shy, being unconfident, not good enough, all those things. So I had to hustle. I had to work hard. I had to do whatever it took. And it took the responsibility. It took the time management. It took about getting my mind in the right place and learning from each situation and generally taking responsibility for my life. So rather than being a product of life, you allow life to be a product of you. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you enjoy my work, go ahead and leave a review. If you're watching this on YouTube, write a comment. Let me know what you think. And go ahead and like it as well, so I know you're getting value, and I'll keep doing these. I'm happy to do it. And I'm thinking of doing something very cool and crazy very soon, like a free program to keep you up to date. It'd be like a 30-day thing, like 5 minutes every day. You watch a video, you listen to an audio. That's what I'm thinking about at the moment. So if you are liking this, go ahead and leave a comment. If you got this on the app, you're listening to the app, I would really appreciate if you were to leave a review of your thoughts, just so that I know you're enjoying it, and that means I'll keep on putting these audios onto the app. I'm trying to do it weekly at the moment. I hope that kind of gives you that little buzz. I'll be doing some more hypnosis stuff on there very soon as well. So have a most wonderful day. Always know how worthy you are, how amazing you are, how beautiful you are, and how capable you are. And just go ahead and do it. Do whatever it takes in the most wonderful way. Don't buy into the rules of society. Appreciate and respect the law, but not the rules that people try to impose upon you, because that's their rules and they learn it from society or people before them. Create your own rules for your life. This is a wonderful way of living, and just do it with love as well. Have a great day.